A look at world history reveals a bitter truth. An invisible but strong authority has long been effective in the shadows of the world system. Although the external form of this authority sometimes takes the form of democracy, sometimes development, sometimes stability, sometimes human rights, its underlying purpose is often an attempt to establish absolute power and spread influence. A superpower, whose economic and military capabilities are unparalleled, seeks to reflect its own will in various parts of the world. It seems that it wants to have the last word on which policies a state will follow, which government will be acceptable, or who should be removed. Although such activities were once limited to secret diplomacy, intelligence activities, and hidden economic pressure, in the present era they have almost reached the level of public declaration. This is not an isolated incident, but rather it has been a continuous process since the middle of the last century. In various countries, in the name of democracy, sometimes under the pretext of standing against dictatorship, power has been changed. But a deeper observation shows that strategic interests, control of natural resources, and expansion of geopolitical influence have taken precedence over human welfare at the root of this change. When a state tries to insist on adopting an independent policy or tries to follow its own path by ignoring the advice of the superpower, various pressures begin to be exerted on it. First, reducing economic assistance, then creating debt dependence, and finally trying to isolate it on the international stage. These steps seem to be part of a pre-planned strategy, by intensifying the economic crisis, increasing public discontent, and finally creating political instability. This has been witnessed many times in many countries. Various international organizations also play an important role in this process. Although these organizations were established with the aim of world peace, development, and economic cooperation, in reality, in many cases, they reflect the policies of powerful states. Loan conditions, economic reform directives, or sanctions are often applied in the way that aims to gradually weaken the target state's ability to govern itself. What is even more worrying is that this hegemonic tendency is gradually shedding its moral mask and is now openly flaunting its application and rhetoric. In recent times, there have been statements that express a desire to destroy an entire civilization. Sadly, this type of imperialism does not only attack political freedom, it also endangers a nation's identity, cultural heritage, and social stability. The change of government in a country at different times is not just a change of power. It carries with it the seeds of uncertainty, violence, and long-term instability. In many countries, this process has resulted in civil wars, refugee crises, and economic collapse. Therefore, a fundamental question arises in the current world order. Is the sovereignty of the state truly intact, or has it become just a paper concept? If a powerful state can determine the internal affairs of another state as it wishes, then how effective is the concept of international law and justice? This politics of arrogance and dominance is continuously plunging the world into the darkness of conflict, division, and mistrust. Where will it end?